Spielbecken, the rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. I have a few more subscribers this week, so subscribe, please. I want to get up to 100 subscribers. And I've been watching What We Left Behind, the Star Trek Deep Space Nine documentary. This was originally crowdfunded, I think, by Indiegogo. I nearly backed it. I came close to backing it, but I just didn't want to wait a couple of years to see it. So I thought I'll just buy it when it comes out, and that's exactly what I did. I think it was actually cheaper doing that. I didn't get my name in the credits. I don't really care, but it's fantastic. It is so much better than I thought it would be. It's probably one of the best science fiction documentaries I've ever seen. It's way up there. It's certainly in the top 5, I think. Anyway, without actually putting any thought into it, it's a traditional documentary. It's got lots of talking heads in it. It's directed, I believe, by Ira Steven Behr. He was basically the showrunner of Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine was his baby, and as well as having talking head, but the core of it. The core of the documentary is he gets the writers' room back together. He gets everybody who was in the writers' room with him. Him, Ronald D. Moore. Who else was there? Was it Robert Herbert Wolf? Was it? I can't remember. I really can't. But he puts them all in a writers' room for a day, and they break down the plot of a first episode for a fictionalized season 8 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and that carries through the entire documentary. They keep going back and forth, and it's fantastic. Yeah, firstly. Oh, would I love to see that show? I would love to see that season that they basically started to map out. It was really, really good. But you know the something else they do, which was interesting. They have the cast read out what I assume is very negative fan reactions to Deep Space Nine. And you know, here's what I found fascinating about it. These negative reactions are almost identical to many of the criticisms against Star Trek Discovery, which which did make me pause for thought, because I do have many of those criticisms. If you haven't seen my videos, I don't like Star Trek Discovery. When I say don't like it, okay, my 30-second review of Star Trek Discovery is it's fantastic production values. Wonderful special effects, great sets. The cast is excellent. Cast is mostly excellent, and just horrible writing at the core of it. That they forgets major plot points from one episode to the next, and what a shame. I think it's much more in season 2 than in season 1. My love of Star Trek Discovery lasted, I think, the first 10 episodes. When I was really into how new and different it was. I like those first 10 episodes. After that, I think it went from mediocre to terrible. Season 2, I thought, was really, really which is interesting, because a lot of people who hated season 1 came out and loved season 2, at least initially. But anyway, but it made me think about Star Trek Discovery in a lot of ways, because especially when they get to the writers' room, because I think you really see the difference between Discovery and Deep Space Nine, even though they had the same the same criticisms from the hardcore fans from the time. It's again, I think where Discovery has fallen hard is the writing. The writing is I think what happened is this: they hired with a diversity policy instead of with people who, they did two things. They hired with a diversity policy, and they just found people who they knew and were in their orbit who fitted those the diversity guidelines they wanted to hire by, instead of looking for great science fiction writers, people who could write science fiction. And there are tons of women. There are I'm sure lots and lots of women who can write really, really good science fiction. They just didn't employ them for Discovery. There was this. When you watch science fiction with people and there's somebody who doesn't really understand it, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on?" That's the type of person, that type of normie, I would say, is the writer of Discovery. Whereas the writers on Deep Space Nine, they really get it. They get who their audience is, and they get what science fiction is, and they get the need for consistency. And if you're going to set up a fictional universe, you must live by the rules of the fictional universe. And fascinatingly, Discovery, Deep Space Nine did a lot of things that Discovery very, I would say, arrogantly says they're the first ones to do. They got into like transgendered issues with Dax, who was essentially a transgender character. She was a man, and then she became a woman with the moving of the symbiote. Although, interestingly, Stephen Bear, when he's very self-critical that he missed out opportunity because Garak. Remember the tale of Garak? They say, well, Garak was obviously gay, and because I was younger at the time, it never occurred to me. And he said, we should have come out. He should have come out in season 2 as gay, and then we'd have 5 seasons of interesting stories. But I think what really really makes Star Trek Deep Space Nine so watchable, and I think it's one of my favorite Star Treks, is that it was an entertainment first, and the social agenda that they talk about, and they do talk about social agenda a lot in Deep Space Nine, was a subtext, was subtle, was it was being led by the drama rather than the social commentary leading it, and I just think that takes. Obviously, it takes skill. It takes skill and talent, which I don't think they have so much in Discovery. But maybe it takes an understanding of being able to work with within science fiction. Well, understanding what science fiction is to make these things organic and a subtext. So they go through a lot of it. They go through like homelessness. Now, there is one moment. There's like 90 seconds, about an hour and 20 minutes in, where they talk about they didn't even talk about it. They allude to current day politics, which turns me off instantly. But all these people are from Hollywood, so they all they okay. I would say most people in the entertainment industry are suffering from a delusion that racism and islamophobism and bigotry is the reasons that elections didn't go the way that they would want them to go. Which is, I think it's nonsense. I just do. But so these people really genuinely feel like they're under major assault, and so they feel they need to push back. So I'm going to say they did pretty well in keeping that insanity to themselves. Because I have a low tolerance for that now. One thing they did speak about, which was really fascinating, something I never considered before. They had Avery Brooks talking about it, and what's his name, Kirk Lofton, who played the son. They said how important it was to have an African American, to have a brown-skinned, positive father role model in the show, because single parent families are a major problem for Avery Brooks's community that he comes from. And I never considered, and it really is. It's really just a fantastic example of positive parenting, positive fathering, and that's like I don't think they could possibly have in Discovery, because they can't have any positive depiction of traditional masculinity, which is what fathering is. And also, I totally didn't realize that what was her name, Penny Gerald, who plays Cisco's love interest in, I think, the last few seasons. I totally forgot about that completely. Played his love interest in the last few seasons. Is now the Doctor on the Orville. So that's an interesting bit of casting. It's always fascinating to see the actors out of makeup. Aaron Eisenberg, who played Nog, I'm not sure. Did he look like he looks a bit interesting. He looks like he's had some kind of reconstructive surgery. I don't know. I wonder if he looked like that out of makeup at the time. Look, he's really. I don't want to rank on him, but it's kind of shocking when you see him. Like, wow. But it's like you see who was it? The Garak, the guy who plays Garak. See everybody out of makeup, and you can kind of see through their eyes their character from the makeup. The guy who plays Gowron, the guy who plays Martok. But that's just a standard documentary fare, and this is far beyond a standard documentary. But in general, I'm telling you, this is a great. It made me realize how much I love Deep Space Nine. See, I get it. It made me realize how much I love Deep Space Nine, how great it was, how good the characters, how good the casting was. Avery Brooks was very noticeable by his absence, but everybody else was in it. They had him in for like 10 seconds here and there They look like archival interviews. I don't know, but they talked about him a lot, and but that was really the only cast member I think they didn't. There was other things that they in the end titles. It was quite fun as the backers' names are scrolling up. You had was it Nana Visitor? I think that's the name. The woman who played Kira. Um, Talking to Ira Stephen Burr as the things went back, and they say, "Wait, you missed out talking about this and that." It's "Oh, it's in the DVD extra." So I'm really glad I bought the Blu-ray of it and didn't get the download, because I'm really looking forward to seeing those extras. They reference like a lot of things they just didn't have room. I think this could have easily been expanded to like an 8-hour miniseries, documentary series. If Netflix was smart, they would snap this up. If they would snap that up and they would produce it into an 8-hour series because it's just a wonderful companion for Star Trek: Deep Space Nine. It's both nostalgic and moving forward. Something else that really struck me about it is they have a lot of fans coming on and speaking, and you can see you have fans of every skin tone, obviously every skin tone and every worldview. Which we live in a very what's the word? I would say divided times, where very fractious times, and it was heartwarming because you see people on both sides of the ideological aisle all loving Star Trek, which is why Star Trek is great. Star Trek, I think, has always been a wonderfully unifying experience, which is why I'm so sad about Discovery. It's been so fractious, but that it was a real testament of what Star Trek is and Star Trek fandom is, which is, again, I think we argue a lot, okay? We argue like cats and dogs, but we all have this like deep seated love of Star Trek, of whatever genre we're in love with that time. But we all have this real core love of Star Trek, and again, and that love of Star Trek, that love of Deep Space Nine, it shines through every second of this documentary. I can't recommend it strong enough. If you like Deep Space Nine, I would say really rush out and buy now. Get it from Amazon, or you can stream it, I think, from iTunes. And there's a bunch of ways to watch it. It's worth your time and it's worth your money. A good sign it's fantastic is I found it over just too quick. I could have watched it for another 6 hours. Really loved it. And again, that fictional first episode they did for season 8, awesome. Oh, would I love to see that season. My name is Svi Lebekin, the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe and ring the little bell to be notified when new videos drop. Comment! People have been commenting on my videos recently. I would like to hear what you think, and I will let you know if I have a response. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day.